Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Zah back at you. Anyways, I decided to drop this video. It's something I wanted to talk about from a long time ago, Spencer, but I just, had to decide which way I want to put it instead of sounding like some little bitter, like little kid. So, without further ado, before I even get into that, there's people that have been supporting the channel since, the gate, and one in particular, I've been, forgetting to give, this particular group a shout out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just shout them out real quick, just to represent. And big shouts out to Sasa Rivas, Life of Mark, Melissa. Go check out their channel. It might be something that you're into, and even if you're not into it, just go ahead and drop a like. It's family, basically about their family, and so yeah. And shouts out to the homie from Florence 64. What's up? To the homie from F True Yasaves and the homie from Mount Vernon Verdugo. And the reason I gave these all the shout outs is because they've really been representing on the channel. And, for the most part, I'm not out there messing around like that anymore. So it doesn't really bother me to give out the shots out, I'm cool with a lot of different Varnus that might not get along. But, I don't get involved in that. That's their, that's their dispute. So it has nothing to do with me. But like I said, to the shout out, you got shots out. You know what I mean? But anyways, just let me get into the story real quick. I'm trying not to take that long. It's basically why, I stopped messing around on the streets. And, it's crazy because when you have homies that are used to you being a certain way and always, being turned up, and you want to do things, you're always getting in trouble and just always in and out of jail. So when you get out, they expect that same person. And for the most part, I was kind of still like that. But, if anybody noticed a change, it was my FI. She knew from the gate that I wasn't the same person. Even though I was like a little bit more calculated, I still wasn't out there wanting to do the things that I did before I got busted. And a lot of people assume that it was because of prison, and it wasn't. It was just learning from mistakes, you know what I mean? It's like this alleged crime that I got busted for. We'll say alleged because when you say other than alleged and say like, the water that may suffer consequences in the future as far as like, pass away, and it's like, oh, well, his passing away was basically and I don't know why the word escapes me, but basically, he passed because what you did to him. You know what I mean? So what you said like that allegedly did to him. So, when I got busted, you know what I mean, a lot of officers that I thought was like solid with me slid back. You know what I mean? It's like in the alleged war that I had going on at that time with the particular neighborhood, none of my homies participated in. You know what I'm saying? And it's like so-called homies, didn't participate in that activity. And I was upset. I was disenchanted with my hood, and I just felt like they betrayed me because, I mean, for the most part, I'm not the only person that this has ever happened to. There's a lot of homies that are busted and get out, and the hood that you got busted for are now your allies somehow. You know what I mean? Or they no longer want to continue the drama because, just with that instance, everything ended. You know what I mean? And I was hearing stuff like, that's not even my beef, that's your beef or whatever. You know what I mean? And I just became disenchanted with my hood because of that. And that's what happens with a lot of us. And the reason I made this video is just to tell homies, like, and it happens. The water that you supposedly started with are not always going to be there with you in the end. As time goes on, you start to thin out, your range starts to thin out. And the ones that you may thought were solid with you in the beginning are not the ones that are solid with you. It's the one in the end that continues to back you no matter what. And in my case, it was sad that I didn't get no backing. But, I was bitter at first, but I learned to just slide back and realize that most of the fools that I kicked it with from my generation that were supposedly out there were no longer out there. Some of them were busted, for other stuff. Some, turned Christian and found God and moved on about their way. So continuing a alleged war that was supposedly had took place, they didn't want to participate in it, and then there was the fools that just weren't about nothing. The fools that want to be in your vodka, kicking it and drinking and becoming dope fiends and all this, that just felt like, that was beyond them somehow. You know what I mean? Even though, everybody knows it's active participation. But you had them fools that just want to hang around when the Hainas around and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I really didn't understand that. You know what I mean? I was frustrated at that fact, and I felt like I said, that I have been betrayed. But like I said, there's a lot of other homies that feel the same way. And the reason I made the video is just to tell, homies, at the end of the day, man, you just gotta come to a realization that not everybody's gonna have your back. For the youngsters that are just coming up in the game, you gotta realize that not everybody's gonna have your back. Some fools are just leeches, and they're there during the good times, and when it's the bad times, it's like they're nowhere to be found. But this case kind of opened my eyes, because it kind of showed me who was really with me and who wasn't. And for the most part, nobody was with me. But like I said, I had to understand that some of the fools that I used to kick it with like that were gone. Some of them, one of them died when I was busted, you know what I mean? And so I couldn't really expect him to be involved in anything. Another homie had got killed in Honduras or whatever. I don't know. Some people say he got shot in Honduras and then he never healed right because he had cancer, so he died. Another solid homie. And then, you had other cats that I just didn't kick it with like that. They came into the scene later on, so they didn't really know nothing about me. They were, participating in their own little get down, whatever. So mine pretty much got washed under the thing. And it's like, and I was frustrated at it, dude. Like, I really felt like, the homies should have really been out there still putting it down. It should have never been just the Blackie show, but it became the Blackie show, and anything outside of me, nobody really knew about, you know what I mean? And then, a real slap in the face is to know that I got out and some of the homies were still fucking with these same alleged fools that I have been, allegedly putting in work on. And I really didn't understand it, and I really didn't want to, mess with these vatos. I was like, you know what, these fools are just trash. But, as I got older and as I have been out for a while, I started to realize that, it would have been selfish of me pretty much to involve them in, whatever alleged crime that I was involved in anyway. Because at the end of the day, it's like, even though it's supposed to be hood, it's like, I'm glad now that homies didn't participate in it, because that just means that this alleged crime that took place, these fools would have been busted too, and it would have just been unnecessary people in jail and unnecessary losses of life, back and forth. I'm happy to say that, none of my homies got killed, during any of this, you know what I mean? It's just, it kind of, the alleged crime that I was supposedly involved in just ended there, you know what I mean? And it never went beyond that. And to this day, I can't really say that I'm frustrated at my homies, you know what I mean? I'm actually happy, you know what I mean? I'm happy that these vatos didn't participate in anything, that they're able to do what they're doing now. And, they got jobs, that some of them are pastors in churches. Some, are still doing their thing. Some are, they're still out there. Some of them are strung out drug addicts. And most of the fools that, not even most, just a few of them that, really, I felt betrayed by are no longer good anyway. They're trash, the basureros, you know what I mean? It's just, so, I'm glad. Like, you weed out the weak, you know what I'm saying? And that's what basically happened. But that's why I tell everybody, you know what I mean, when you're doing your thing, don't expect everybody to have your back. Don't expect everybody to want to pick up the mantle and take on whatever silent war you had going with whoever. At the end of the day, not everybody's going to stay solid like that. You know what I mean? And you can't really be selfish and assume that, everybody's going to do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a prime example, you know what I mean, of a man on fire, you know what I mean? And like I said, even though it went the way it went, like I'm happy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy and I'm humbled by it. It gave me a perspective that to know that not every homie had my back, you know what I mean? And it's just the way it is. And when you learn to deal with those type of disappointments and get by them, it just makes you a better person. I mean, I could have got out and start smoking homies, that I felt should have been participating in whatever, but that would only perpetuate violence. It just would have been like, oh, I smoked this fool. One of his family came back, tried to smoke me, or maybe they never got me, and I just kept running through fools, and then I would have been back in jail, and it would have been like, this time I'm busted for killing, one of my own homeboys, you know what I mean, over something that, that I felt disrespected by. But at the end of the day, it's like I had to come to the realization that I'm just me, and not everybody thought like me, you know what I mean? Not everybody is gonna have my back 113% like me. And that's what it comes down to. A lot of us get caught up in this hype and think Wagner this, Wagner that. But at the end of the day, it's a Wagner, and whether it's big or small, you're not always gonna have that backing. You're not always gonna. Every homie is there when you're doing good. You know what I mean? But not too many of them want to be there when you're doing bad. Prime example, you got lots that are incarcerated right now that are getting absolutely no support, and they laid their life down in order to participate in these activities. Maybe one of their homies got hurt and they wanted to go back, but after a while, after a few years, nobody even really worries about them except when they run into you in the pen. It's a good thing for, like, with my hood, with certain cats that really didn't know me like that. They were happy just knowing that they had a homie that was busted and that was staying solid and that was, known for handling this business. But with the paquetes and the going to tienda and visitas and just having, like, because every water got that one where you send high knots to go see you. I didn't have none of that, you know what I mean? And I mean, that's a product of being from a small neighborhood. But a lot of us forget about you when you get busted, and you either come to terms with it or you just be bitter. And at first I was bitter, but I came to terms with it. Like, nobody allegedly, for the alleged crime I was busted for, pulled any triggers but me. You know what I mean? So, allegedly pulled the trigger, whatever. But I had to come to terms with that fact. You know what I mean? That not everybody wanted to participate in what that I was participating in. And I know, like, I'm all over the place, you know what I mean? But I didn't really want to glorify anything. This is just basically, for homies that just wanted to know why I stopped. And this is one of the reasons why I stopped. I just didn't feel like it was necessary for me anymore to do anything. I didn't feel like I needed to go out and prove anything. I didn't want to be busted again and have the homies betray me again. Like, and I felt betrayed. But now it doesn't matter. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm glad nobody picked up that mantle and decided to continue this alleged war that I had going on. But the more of the story is, don't trust everybody. Don't expect people to do what you do. Don't expect everybody to have that loyalty like you did. And recognize that when you represent a block, you represent the block by yourself, no matter who's around you. And when you get busted and you die, only you die. They don't die. Except, like, the people that's close to you. The only one that's really gonna feel it forever is, like, close family members. So just learn from my mistake. Not even my mistake, because everything is a lesson. But just learn and understand that at the end of the day, when that cage shuts, not every homie's gonna be there. And it's just something you just gotta get used to. Not every homie thinks on the same wave pattern as you do. Not every homie wants to pick up a pistol, supposedly, and go do what you're willing to do. You know what I mean? Even now, you got cats on here that be running their mouth, but that's all there. You can tell that they're little kids and really don't know too much about what's going on, and hopefully they get their stuff straight and just realize that they ain't gonna go nowhere with that type of mentality. And some of them are cops. You know what I mean? And for the ones that do come on my page with saying certain things, I'll block you. And that's not telling on you. That's just blocking you because I know you're a cop, or and you're just doing too much on the page. You know what I mean? I just block you, throw you off the page, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to deal with, like, solid camaradas, and at the end of the day, to push that lane, like I said. Well, as you can see, the Mortal Kings, that's my sister's brand. You know what I'm saying? You can see the shirt, Spencer. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'll push my own brand, but I need people to actually request, be willing to pay for the merch. You know what I mean? If they're not paying for the merch, it costs a lot to make them. You know what I mean? So if you want that, at Zod Rese, that's my IG, that's my Facebook, and enough people request, and I'll start actually printing these shirts. And with that being said, like I said, to the shots out, till I get the shots out, no gang banging. Sorry if the story was a little all over the place, but I just didn't want to. There's certain things I can't mention, and that's just the way it is. But hopefully, I will formulate it a lot better for you all that just came to my channel You know, drop that like, subscribe, and you know, let's push this. And you know, on that note, I'm your boy Zod, and I'm out. Buenas noches.